This is a tutorial for my arrangement of Rainbow Connection as performed by Kermit the Frog in the 1979 film The Muppet Movie. The song was written by Paul Williams and Kenneth Asher and was originally recorded in the key of A major with a semitone key change or modulation to B flat major 2/3 of the way through the song. To make this slightly easier on the ukulele and to sing with my limited vocal range, I've moved the key down a tone to G major with an optional key change to A flat major. A semitone key change is always going to result in one of the keys having a number of bar chords to deal with, but I'm going to be showing some different options on keeping things relatively simple, but also by adding in some other chord options for those who want a bit more of a challenge. But before we get into breaking the song down, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps me with making more of these video tutorials moving forward. The song is in a slow 3/4 or waltz time, so just 3 beats to the bar. And I tend to play a down, down, up strumming pattern, like so. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and... But just 3 down strums per bar would work equally well. The main thing is to stress the first beat of the bar and play beats 2 and 3 a little quieter. There's a short finger-picked intro riff at the beginning of the song, and again just before the second verse that's played on a banjo, and to simulate this accurately, we really need a low G-tuned ukulele, as we don't have the first note of each bar available to us on a standard re-entrant tuned uke. So I've borrowed a low G-tuned ukulele here from a friend to show you how this would sound. You can of course play the intro and indeed the rest of the song in standard ukulele tuning, it just won't have that first note of each bar of the intro in the right octave. You could of course just not play the riff at all and replace it with a bar of G and a bar of C a couple of times around. So the intro riff sounds something like this. I'll do that again. So let's quickly break this down into the easiest way to play it. Firstly, we want to already be fretting a G major chord with our fretting hand, and we're going to be holding this shape for the whole of the first bar. Then we want to place the thumb of our picking hand on our G string, our index finger under the E string, and our middle finger under the A string, like so. So now we have our thumb, our index and middle fingers all touching a string. The only string we're not touching with our picking hand is the C string. Then in sequence, first we pluck down on the G string with our thumb and leave this string ringing. Then we follow through to pluck down on the C string below it, again with our thumb. And then we pluck up on both the E and the A string at the same time with our index and middle finger. Then we follow this by plucking down on the C string again with our thumb, and then pluck up on the E and the A string again with our index and middle finger, and then we follow by plucking down on the C string again with our thumb to finish the first bar. I'll do that all again very slowly. So this is the first bar. One more time. Then we change our fretting hand to a C shape for the second bar, and we pluck down on the G string again with our thumb, leave the string ringing, pluck up on the E string with our index finger, and then finally we strum down on a C chord, but ideally only hit the 3 strings nearest the floor, as the G string should in theory still be ringing. It doesn't matter too much if you hit the G string as well. So again, that second bar, we're holding a C major chord, we pluck down on the G with our thumb, up with the E on our finger, and then strum the chord. So put the whole thing together nice and slowly. And again. In the original, this is played 4 times around, but with an extra empty bar between the first and second time and the second and third time. So effectively you need to count an empty bar after the first and second time you play the riff, but not after the third and fourth time. I've tried to show this in this MIDI playback tablature clip of the full intro. As mentioned before, the riff is effectively played each time over a bar of G and a bar of C, and there's a low G note played at the beginning of both bars that ideally rings for the whole bar. There's already a G note present in a C major chord, and the way we would show that this needs to be the lowest note in the chord would be expressed by what is known as a slash chord. If you see the C/G above the second bar in the tablature diagram, this is a slash chord and basically means we play a C chord, but the lowest note in that chord should be a G instead of the normal C. This is only possible with a low G string in the standard C major shape. As a rule of thumb, if you see a slash chord on a song sheet and it isn't possible to play the note after the slash as the lowest note in the chord, don't worry about it and just play the normal chord shape. It would then be the bass player's job to play that G note under our C major chord. So once again, here's the MIDI playback clip of the full intro. As I've borrowed this ukulele for a couple of days, I may as well use it for the rest of this tutorial. The low G string will also prove useful with some of the extra chord choices I'm going to offer in the chorus of the song. The verse is 16 bars long with one chord per bar throughout, and these are all simple chords that most people should be familiar with. It starts with a bar of G major, then goes to a bar of E minor in bar 2, a bar of A minor 7 or a standard A minor in bar 3, and then a bar of D major in bar 4. I tend to play this barred form of D major as I prefer how it sounds in this context, and also it will become useful in the chorus and when the song changes key, but either shape is fine. In bar 5 we go back to a bar of G major, again followed by an E minor in bar 6. In bar 7 we have a bar of C, and in bar 8 we have a bar of D to set us up for the next line. In bars 9 through to 16 we have the same chord progression as bars 1 to 8, except for the final 2 bars stay on a C major chord to set us up for the chorus. So bar 9 is a G major, bar 10 an E minor, bar 11 an A minor or A minor 7, bar 12 is a D major, bar 13 back to G, bar 14 another E minor, and for bars 15 and 16 we just have 2 bars of C major. Let me just demonstrate the first verse. 1, 2, 3. Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. For the chorus, here's where things get a little bit more interesting and we have some nice chord options. For the first 4 bars, we're just playing a C major 7 chord, while the vocal line moves back and forth between the notes E and B, which are both in that chord. Then for bars 5 to 8, we just either play a B minor for all 4 bars, or if you want a slightly easier option, you could replace the B minor with a B minor 7. This will work equally well in this situation, so B minor 7. But if you want a really nice option for bars 5 to 8 that really harmonise nicely with the melody, try playing bar 5 as a B minor, then bar 6 as a B minor 7, and then finally bars 7 and 8 as a B minor 6. And this way you get this lovely descending bass line through the chords. So I'll just demo that with that descending line. So we've been told and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. This works very nicely with the low G string, but would also be fine without. Then in the second line of the chorus we have a bar of A minor 7 in bar 9, a bar of D major in bar 10, then a bar of B minor 7 in bar 11, and this is where that barred version of D major works well, as we'd only need to take our little finger off the D in order to change to the B minor 7. In bar 12 we have an E7, in bar 13 we have another A minor 7, and then in bar 14 we have a bar of D7, which takes us back to another 4-bar short intro before starting the second verse. So let me just demo the whole of the first chorus section. 1, 2, 3. So we've been told and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers and me. In verse 2 the chord sequence is identical to verse 1, so I'll just play through it with the chords on the screen. 1, 2, 3. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. The second chorus chord sequence is the same as the first, right up to and including bar 14. But at this point, the D7 resolves to a bar of G major, which takes us into a separate line that sets us up for the modulation or key change. This line is 8 bars long and starts with a bar of D, then has a bar of E minor, which in turn moves to a bar of G, and then a bar of C, then we go back to another bar of G, and then a bar of D, and finally has 2 bars of E flat, which is setting us up for the key change to A flat for the last third of the song. Here I would probably choose to use this barred E flat instead, and the barred D major in the bar before it. So let me just demonstrate the second chorus with the extra line that takes us into the key change, and then I'll explain how you avoid the key change if you'd prefer. 1, 2, 3. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Now if you didn't want to brave this key change, you could effectively play the last 3 bars all as a D major, and then go back to play the final verse, chorus and outro still in the key of G major with the same chords you've already been using. The accompanying song sheets to this tutorial cover both options. We're now going into the key of A flat for the last verse, chorus and outro of the song, and these are the chords we'll be using. Please note here that this is the same chord progression as in the other verses, but every chord is just a semitone higher in pitch. So in bar 1 we have a bar of A flat. In bar 2 we have a bar of F minor. In bar 3 we have a bar of B flat minor 7. Then in bar 4 we have an E flat. In bar 5 we go back to an A flat. Then in bar 6 we have another F minor. Then in bar 7 we have a D flat. And then a bar of E flat in bar 8. Again, I'd probably use the barred version of D flat, moving up to the barred version of E flat here. In bars 9 through to 16 we have the same chord sequence again as bars 1 to 8, except for the final two bars stay on a D flat major chord to set us up for the chorus. So here's the last verse in A flat. 1, 2, 3. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. Again, the final chorus is effectively the same chord progression as the second chorus, but this time all the chords are a semitone higher. This chorus also takes us into an outro line to finish the song. To start the chorus, we have 4 bars of D flat major 7. Then we have the same options as in the other choruses to either play bars 5 to 8 just as a C minor chord, or a C minor 7 chord, or to use the descending line of bar 5 as a C minor, bar 6 as a C minor 7, and bars 7 and 8 as a C minor 6. In bar 9 we now have a B flat minor 7, in bar 10 an E flat, in bar 11 another C minor 7, then in bar 12 we have an F7 chord that resolves back to B flat minor 7, in bar 13, an E flat 7 chord in bar 14 that resolves to a bar of A flat to take us into the 6 bar outro line, which is a bar of C minor 7, a bar of F minor, a bar of A flat, then a bar of B minor 7, a bar of E flat or E flat 7 to finally resolve to a single strum of A flat. So let me demonstrate the final chorus and the outro line. 1, 2, 3. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. Something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La di da di da da do, la da 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 di da da do. So that wraps it up for this arrangement of Rainbow Connection. If you found this helpful or have any questions, please leave a comment, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, as I regularly post new video tutorials for ukulele at all levels. If you'd like a PDF of the full song sheet with all the chords, the lyrics, the intro tablature, and also with both options on whether you do the key change or not, if you buy me a coffee, see how to do so in the link below the video. I'll email a copy over to you. Thanks for watching and bye for now.